Disney's problems continue to just grow and grow and grow. Not only have we seen all of these movies flop, we've watched Bob Iger fail to be able to answer any questions to a satisfactory extent at this recent conference that he gave. The problems just keep happening and happening and happening. And right now, Disney is facing a massive 9,000 woman lawsuit over pay disparity.
And this is a class action lawsuit, by the way, that was started in April of 2019 with only 4 women in it. And slowly but surely, the lawyer who is in charge of the case has amassed 9,000 women who still work for or used to work for Disney that are claiming there's a total of $150 million in stolen wages that they were cheated out of because they're women. And I simply can't believe that the gender wage gap debate still arises in 2023.
It will go on forever. There's a $20 super chat here from Gordon Shumway. You do not call a woman who's been drinking an Uber, Brett. You have her pull out her phone and make sure she calls an Uber. If she throws up in the Uber on your account, you'll be charged. Ask me how I know. Gordon Shumway, I'm going to ask you right now. How do you know? Let us know. It says a judge on Friday certified a class action lawsuit that alleges that Disney paid 9,000 women less than their male counterparts. The suit is the largest ever certified under California's Equal Pay Act, which makes it illegal for workers to be paid less for substantially similar work based on their gender. How do they quantify substantially similar work?
There were women who provided examples, but really it's like, I wasn't promoted in 2 decades working for Disney while I saw all of my male colleagues getting promotions.
Because they likely asked for the promotions or they were very vigorous in pushing for raises every time their evaluations came up. We've had this debate.
We have, in fact, had this debate countless times, and they're never going to listen.
Nope.
So the lawyer, Lori Andrus, said Disney has been gaslighting these women for 4 years. They love their jobs, they love the brand, but they want to be respected and treated the way they should be in the workplace.
Lori Andrus, we paid them the same, Lori.
And then Disney responded to this saying, we are disappointed with the court's ruling as to the Equal Pay Act claims and are considering our options. Whereas 4 years ago, when this lawsuit began, they said there is no merit to these claims.
None whatsoever.
And they're starting to change their tune, I guess. But this is just a recycling of an issue that has been debated to death in not just pop culture, but the culture in general. But it's a tired argument.
It's a winning argument for the plaintiffs, though, from a publicity standpoint.
Yeah.
They win instantly when it comes to publicity. It says female Disney employees who have worked for the company in California since April 1st, 2015 in a non-union position below the level of vice president and who have been assigned to a job, family, and level. It covers employees from the Disneyland hotels and theme parks, the cruise line, the Disney Film and TV Studios, ABC, Marvel, Lucasfilm, and other unions. Now I'm picturing the Jessica Jones actress, really pissed that she's not making the same money as Mike Coulter from Luke Cage. I'm picturing some hilarious people that could have been in this lawsuit.
I don't know who to side with, because obviously we hate Disney, we hate Bob Iger, and anything that hurts Disney is something to celebrate, right? But also, we don't like the feminists, and we know that the gender pay gap is a bunch of BS. So I'm not sure who to side with.
What if they pulled an Uno reverse and they sent them to assertiveness training? They're like, look, you want to raise? We'll teach you how to be assertive. So the next time you go up for a performance review, you'll learn to walk away if you need to.
We got a $20 from Dreamcast Night. Said it's over 9,000. LOL. Fail Disney.
Yeah.
And then Gordon Shumway sent a $20 super chat. I got charged $300 because I was being a nice person and got a drunk girl a ride home, and she puked in the Uber. So much for being a good Samaritan. Wow.
Maybe what you do next time is you order it on her phone, but you give her the cash or something if you're trying to be polite. I don't know.
Yeah, but that would just be too involved.
Yeah, it's a little too much, right?
Sorry that happened, or congratulations, whatever.
Yeah.
Again, I just don't know who to side with here. They're equally stupid. So the suit claims Disney systematically pays women in California less than men. The pay disparity is not based on legitimate factors. It is based on sex, with a less than 1 in 1 billion chance it occurred in the absence of discrimination. How okay, then present the evidence that male colleagues and male executives at Disney were somehow rubbing their hands and conspiring in the back rooms and puffing on their cigars and drinking whiskey, putting down all of the women that work for the company. And I would think that you mentioned assertiveness training. Working in corporate America for decades on end ought to be a good enough assertiveness training for any adult. But we know that because it's in women's nature to go with the flow and the status quo and not be open to confrontation or advocating for themselves or negotiating for themselves, things like this happen all the time, and it's not intentional.
I love the idea that it's not that they're doing it intentionally, but every time the guy asks for the raise, they get really excited to give it to him, and they give him a high five. They're like, yeah!
They throw a party for him. They have employee of the month.
Like, yeah, pay disparity, and they're really into it.
And, Disney is not in a position to dole out hundreds of millions of dollars to disgruntled employees right now, given that they lost $1 billion just in the box office in the past year. They're really not in any position to be giving handouts to people who feel they were underappreciated.
The best thing that could happen here, literally the best thing that could possibly happen, is they drag in like a guy and a girl who play Mickey and Minnie, and the Minnie makes way less than the Mickey, and Minnie has to take the stand, and Mickey has to be like, look, it's not my fault. She doesn't ask for a raise. Look, I do the work, right? She argued that just because two employees are in the same job family and level, that does not mean that their work is substantially similar. She rattled off a long list of job titles: music producers, pastry chefs, nurses, architects, ride engineers, visual effects directors, security dog handlers, Star Wars social media managers. Well, that person should be fired.
Star Wars social media managers.
To argue that the class members were too diverse to merit certification. That's true. Pastry chef is not making the same as a nurse or a music producer or a ride engineer or a visual effects director. There's a large disparity there in the type of jobs that you have and what could be in the type of people that would be qualified for.
I mean, the fact that this lawyer was able to bring thousands of women on board to a class action lawsuit over such a short span of time will show you that most of these women, if not all of these women, had not an inkling in their whole careers that they were being discriminated against based on sex. They just got an email that said,
that did happen to me.
Fill out this form if you want to join on the off chance that Disney will give you a big payout in 2025. And they never once had the notion that they were being underpaid compared to their male
Because
colleagues.
You're not supposed to share your salary with your colleagues. You're not supposed to talk about those things.
Obviously.
So it's funny too, because I actually recently got like a class action type letter in the mail from people that were suing the company that makes Suboxone, which is a medication that they put people on when they're getting sober, right? It's an opiate blocker, and it will prevent you from going through withdrawal. And basically the idea was that they were like people who were paying out of pocket for it. They were like marking up the prices on the out of pocket expense for the medication. And thank you guys. Yes, party time. Let's go, guys. Yeah, the idea here is that they're just like, oh yeah, I was being mistreated.
Yeah,
I was. That's actually true. Perfect.
Once you plant the idea of victimhood and oppression in someone's mind, of course they're just going to take it and run with it because that's currency these days.
Yep.
And there's never been better evidence that you should not stack your corporate offices with a bunch of female diversity hires because they're going to conspire to do something like this.
Yeah.
As Matt Walsh said on Twitter just the other day, name one institution that was significantly improved from bringing in female leadership. There are 0 examples you can bring up.
Well, as we're going to talk about in the next segment, all of the heads of these universities are all women.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't believe for a second it's because of their qualifications.
Yeah. It's, well, especially not Claudine Gay or whatever. We were talking about that last night on Colonel Kurtz's show. But it's this is just another in a long line of problems for Disney right now, and they can't really afford the bad publicity. They're about to pay $1 gazillion to buy Hulu.
Well, maybe the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So the enemy of Bob Iger is this feminist class action lawsuit. We'll be friends in the meantime. That's fine by me.
I mean, there was also all the stuff that was going on when they had to furlough people during COVID and everything, right? Like there was like Disney's always
tough shit. I mean,
tumultuous place to work.
All corporations that are at the level of Disney are extremely bloated, and there are people that work there for years on end providing zero value. I mean, if anything, they're overpaid. Almost all of these women probably overpaid for the work that they do.
I mean, I don't know about, like, I've heard some horror stories about the pay for people who work in the parks and stuff like that. I don't know.
Well, this isn't involving any of the people that work at the parks.
It mentioned the parks in here. It did.
Is it?
Yeah, it did. I mean, this is from all branches of it.
Well, all the examples that they listed
hotels
were
and theme parks, the cruise lines, Disney film. It's not just the TV studios. It's all these other areas too. But it'd be funny if some guy tried to get on this lawsuit. He's like, look, I'm underpaid too. He's just never asked for a raise.
You know what needs to happen at Disney? All of the men in the corporate offices need to quickly transition to be women so that they can join the class action lawsuit.
That's perfect.
In fact, I wouldn't doubt there are transgender identified men that are listed in this class action lawsuit. 9,000 people, there's bound to be a few in there.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.